In this story, we meet Solomon, son of David. And Solomon is made king at a young age. Like, he's really only a kid. Solomon realizes that he has a big task before him, and that he must fairly govern his people. And so Solomon prays to God. Solomon could have asked God for anything: money, fame, a Nintendo Switch, all the things your parents would usually say no to you when you ask for. But instead, Solomon asks for wisdom. And God is impressed. And God ends up giving Solomon wisdom and a discerning heart, but also promises wealth and honor too. And so this story builds on the story we heard previously about Jonah. And we learn that not only can we strengthen our faith by being honest with God about the hard things we're feeling, we also can be better versions of ourselves by using prayer as a tool to help guide our lives to be more caring participants in our world.
This is like, what would your superpower be? Yeah. Honestly, I think wisdom would be something I would really value and would probably help in a lot of situations. Because a lot of the anxiety I have comes from, like, I don't know what to do in this situation. I don't want to make the wrong decision, even with little things. And so if I had the wisdom to make the right decision, or to feel like it wasn't as big of a deal, for the little things, that would probably help. And I don't know. I think also it would be really cool if I could, I don't remember where this is from. There's like some book or something that it's from, but I thought it was really cool that one of the characters could share their emotions with people by like touching them on the shoulder or something. I think it would be cool if I could do the reverse of that and feel what other people are feeling by touching them on the shoulder. I think that would be helpful.
Justice! I think that would be really cool. Kind of the ability to make, to sense and correct inequalities.
I have often felt unprepared for tasks that I've had on my list, and frankly, I would say that I just try to operate with the assumption that I know what I'm doing. And that's not often a great way of doing things. I think it's a great idea to ask for help and ask for guidance. I think that my preference for jumping into things head first without any sort of guardrails can set me up to have a bumpy road. So I think it's great to ask for guidance, both guidance from people around you and guidance from places that are not immediately in your midst.
Before coming to camp, I was really nervous. So I was like, how am I supposed to enter this really spiritual place, not having ever been in a place that's very spiritually guided, and then also asked to help guide. That was a big step. And there definitely are moments where I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing. How do I do this? But I'm lucky enough to have people around me who know that can help guide me.
I was kind of just taught by society and my family that asking for help just inconveniences people, which I think is kind of common, which is sad, but it is something that I've been working on and I'm still not good at.
I would say that one thing that keeps me from asking for help is the belief that I should power through. And often I will look back in retrospect and realize I should have asked for help, but by then it's usually too late.
I think the fear of getting no for an answer, you know? There's nothing worse than being like, hey, I need this help, and hearing I can't help you, or I don't want to help you, or I don't know how to help you. And so sometimes not asking for it is better than hearing a no or having to face that rejection.
Frequently, I like to figure out the right person for me to ask for help from, the person that will be most receptive or most understanding. And I think the thing that keeps me from asking for help the most is the sense that I don't know people around me well enough to know how they would respond to me asking that.
I think a lot of times I write when I pray because it's easier for me to keep track of my thoughts that way. And I think it helps me not necessarily to like know what to do, but it helps me kind of untangle everything and look at it all and figure out what I have right now and like what's going on right now. And then from there, it's easier to figure out what I need to do.
Yeah, prayer, meditation, and contemplation are all part of the ways that I seek guidance. I really value each of those three for their own reasons. I think that contemplation is something I really value in terms of the ability to think about ideas in a way that is very open and sort of without the pressures of considering things in a more worldly way. I value meditation for the opportunity to be introspective and think about my own basic functions as a living being, and sort of just have an opportunity to breathe and concern myself solely with my breathing and my body, and really quite literally think about things one breath at a time. And I also really value prayer as an opportunity to be honest about the needs that I am feeling, the desires that I have, the challenges that I'm experiencing, and also the people who are in my thoughts and who I wish to bless.
I have a tendency to spin about things and come up with a million potential solutions to one problem. And so I think that taking time to pray and to contemplate helps kind of clear some of those and helps me connect with what I really need or want and can sometimes be avoiding.
I think that prayer and meditation and contemplation are something whenever I'm really churning on, I spend a lot of time kind of focusing on the problem and turning it over in my head. And when I can stop and breathe and think about it, a lot of times I can think of a mentor or a friend who would want to hear from me if there's something that they could help me with. And so a lot of times I do come to a place that brings me more towards community and more towards others if I stop and give it time to rest, not in just like a thinking head sort of way, but with my spirit and my being. It reminds me that I'm a part of a interconnected web. So I think that's the biggest way that prayer and contemplation help me.
I think it's interesting to consider with Solomon how we would each handle his situation differently. If we would be overwhelmed in that position, if we would be overconfident in that position, if we would underestimate what it might take. I think the myriad of possibilities of being this young royal in running this kingdom in this faraway time, in this faraway place, it's a good thought experiment to think about how different it is than how most of us live our lives, and what different approaches there are from our day-to-day life, and perhaps also what similarities there are with the habits and the styles that we all have.